Adam Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people.
Well, that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people shattering the NFL draft attendance record.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
All right, breaking news. Well, not so much anymore. Aidan Hutchinson gets locked up. Extra 4-year extension, $181 million. Hey, this is great news, man, for the Lions, for Aidan, for the future. Now we know what we're dealing with, right?
I'm loving it.
I think this gives the Lions options. Honestly, give me 1 sec. Oh, something's not making sense over here. But anyway, it gives the Lions options. And when we take a look at the options, what they could have, well, let's take a look at Spotrac. And actually, let me look at Over the Cap. I'll bring some of this stuff in so we can kind of look at where this contract fits and what is potentially going to happen with the Lions, cap space wise. Now, I haven't been able to do, obviously, any research yet. So we're going to kind of do some of this on the fly. And actually, we're going to do all of it on the fly. And the goal is, what's next? Does this mean that the Lions are trying to open a window to bring somebody else in? Possibly. And does that mean that they were trying to figure out where Aidan's contract was going to fall? Possibly. So let's talk about that. All edge rushers right now, if you look at the position, and I'm going to open up phone lines. I got to be in and out in like probably 30 minutes or less. I'll open up phone lines at the end. Anyway, if you look at the edge rusher position, Aidan slotted in, I think, at a really good rate. Was it a hometown discount? No. Was it affordable comparatively to everybody else? Yes. And he's the second, according to over the cap, he is the second richest edge rusher now. He did not reset the market, which is good news. Had he reset the market, then I think that we're kind of up shit's creek with no paddles at that point. If that makes any sense. I don't think that the Lions would have been able to come back from that one. Without a doubt, they wouldn't have been able to come back from that one. That is even an extra, $5, $6, $7 million a year. That's a ton of money. And especially when you think about how many players you can bring in for that kind of money, it's a lot. You can bring in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more guys for that kind of money. So I want to take a look at the contracts, where they line up, and and why this could be significant or not significant. Why is this not showing up? There we go. Man, I got to update OBS again. It's just the last update they did, it's like half the stuff is broken. Every time I do a window capture, it does not work. I mean, it works eventually, but it does not work the way it's supposed to. And go back to it again. It shows that it's there, but it's not there. That is crazy. Like, I've been doing this stuff long enough that this stuff is like piece of cake. Super simple. You could do the Twitter one. Go to this one. Sorry, give me 1 sec. See, when you do stuff on the fly, it sucks. It's never smooth. It's never smooth, but we'll get there. I just want to have a brief conversation on this. Kind of lay out where the Lions are going to be. Why this is significant before the trade deadline. I mean, I think your brains are probably already turning, right? And thinking, who's coming in? I mean, that was my initial thought. Why, you get the deal done now, right before the trade deadline. That really makes you think that they're looking at somebody. And if they're looking at somebody and they have to get Aidan done, is that a significant somebody? Could be. Could just be wishful thinking for, a lot of us. When you want to stack a team, you want to play Madden. Obviously, stacking a team is always a great thing. But then again, is it really going to pan out? And the answer is probably not. But, all right, so let's take a look. Right now, Aidan is going to slide right in between Micah Parsons and TJ Watt. When you look at his overall number, 181 over 4 years. I wish they would have, well, I guess maybe not. I was going to say, I wish they would have just combined all remaining seasons, all money, and just rewrote a whole new deal. And maybe that doesn't make sense because I don't understand all of the contract stuff that they do. But that's $45.25 million a year. So he's a full $1.25 million less per year than Micah Parsons. But he's making more than TJ Watt, more than Myles Garrett. I wouldn't have paid him that much, but it is what it is. He's getting $35 million guaranteed. Was it 140? He's getting $35 million guaranteed. So when you look at those numbers overall, you look at the fully guaranteed money over here, he got 140. So he got the most guarantee, he just got less per year. And the guaranteed number is really the number that matters. I mean, they got fully guaranteed 120, total guaranteed 136 for Micah Parsons. And again, without having all of the numbers, we don't know where everything's going to slot, but we can just slot him in at number 2 right now. What is that going to do for the Lions cap space? That's the next question. So when you take a look at, oh, come on. That looks way too small. When you look at the Lions cap space this year, it's not going to affect this year. It's not even going to affect next year. The extension should kick in after 2026. So the extension should kick in 2027. Let me fix this real quick. Which helps the Lions. I mean, again, we know where he's going to be. We know how much money he's going to be making. And where does that put the Lions' future? What implications are we going to have? Okay, so Taylor Decker next year, right? If the Lions move off of Taylor Decker, that's a $19 million savings. So that's almost half of his deal, right? That's almost half of Aidan's deal if Taylor Decker's not retained next season. But let's go down to Aidan. And taking a look at his deal here in 2026, he was due $19.872 million. He'll still make that next year. And then in 2027, this new deal is going to kick in. And I have a feeling that this new deal is probably going to be middle loaded, meaning they won't load a bunch in 27, but they're going to load more in 28, 29. And then the last year would probably be next to nothing. I think it'd be a middle loaded contract. You know, unlike, I think Jared Goff was a little bit more front loaded with that 70 million, you know, hitting this next season. That is the first year of his extension. If I remember correctly, that's the first year, or maybe it's the second year. No, it's the first year. So they front loaded it so that they could get rid of that contract on the front end, and then you bring in Aidan and you middle load it, and then that gives you a couple years of a gap of where you're not spending or overspending a ton of money. All right, let me go back to the other screen. Let's play with his contract here. Let's manage the contract. Why can't I do it in this? Ooh, do I got to sign in? All right, let's go to Spotrac. One sec. Of course, this one's not lined up. Of course, it's not. Why should it be? But anyway, I mean, obviously, you guys are probably chatting away. I can't see it right now. How excited, you know, our Lions fans right now to know that they have a premier edge rusher that is only going to get better with time, and he's going to stay, you know, in Detroit. Or there's the question: do any of you think that the Lions got this done, and there could be a possibility that he's ever traded? I'm like 10% on that one. I don't really think that that's an option. I really don't. All right, Aidan's deal right here. Now we should be able to manage the contract. Oh, they already got it added in. Good for them. They just have it as an estimate. Oh, I got to sign in. I'm not going to sign in. I'm not going to show you guys all my passwords. I love you all, but I'm not doing that. Not happening. I don't even know why I have to sign in. So let me sign in real quick. I'm usually always signed in. So what do you think this does? Do you think this now has moved a little bit of cap around to give the Lions an opportunity to bring someone in? And if that's the case, would it be a longer term situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, would they be looking at a left tackle? Or I wouldn't think defensive end. I really wouldn't. It's always possible. But maybe a left tackle, if there was a left tackle that is, you know, up for grabs right now, that could be an interesting move. But who would they bring in? And why would you do that with Taylor Decker right now? What would you do with Taylor? Just put him on the back burner as a backup? It's a pretty expensive backup. What do you guys think? Do you think there's anything to this at all, or do you think it's, hey, they just got the deal done? It just seems kind of weird timing that they get it done before Minnesota, then they get it done before the trade deadline. There really hasn't been a ton of conversation on it. All right, has anyone seen the full details yet on the total guarantee at signing? $181 over 140. 180 over 141. 180. I better fix that. Better fix that. 180. There we go. That's fixed. I just didn't see like any guarantee at sign and all that good stuff yet. All right, let me get back into this. Let's manage this contract. Okay, so I apologize. You're not going to be able to see all of this, but I just want to plug these numbers in. So 180 million signing bonus. Yes. I don't even know what it is. If I go back and look at these guys, okay, interesting. I think that they had signing bonuses into the 60 million range. $44 for Parsons. So let's just throw 60 million in there. Say he gets a really big signing bonus. Any roster bonuses, like I don't care about any of that. Roster game bonuses, option, I don't care about any of that. 2025, 2026 will stay the same. $2027. I'm just going to look at Parsons here. We're going to do, I think, middle loaded. So we'll just go 20 million and 27. We'll do 30 million, 28. Do 40 million, 29. What's that? 70, 90. We're not even close. 70, 90. No, we're going to do this. We're going to do 40 million, 50 million. You know what? These numbers are all off. We're just going to do 10, 10, 10, 5. Oh, it's not letting me do what I want to do. All right, scrap all this. Forget it. I'll have to come back. I'll have to come back and do this part. It's not going to let me do what I want. Spo track has changed theirs a little bit, and I'm not as affluent with it. It's like looking at Japanese. All these are grayed out, and I can't change it. Whatever. Anyway, all right, to carry on the conversation. So if he's getting roughly $45 million a year, and you look at the Lions, overall, you look at what they have next season, that'll all stay the same. So next season, the Lions have $25 million. That should stay roughly the same. He's going to get a signing bonus, and that can go out over 5 years, I believe. So that'll hit next year. I'm sure he'll get some of that included in there, potentially. Even this year, some of it will probably hit. So I'm wondering what's going to happen to the Lions' $25 million this year. How much of that is going to go to Aidan? Or maybe none of it does. I guess we'll see what the contract does. I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is there's a reason why the Lions haven't done anything. You know, they haven't made any significant moves, you know, outside of, you know, bringing in the free agents this year, and they really haven't made a huge move at a trade deadline or anything for this reason. If they were going to re-sign Aidan, what was the thing that I had mentioned to everybody? I said if Aidan was going to get an extension after that injury, it was going to be after this season gets underway. That you have to see what he's going to do. I'd have to go back and check all the receipts. I almost think I said it would have to be around mid-season or next season, right? In the off season. Either way, I never thought that he would get a deal before the season started. And I think that this is what you wanted to see. You wanted to see Aidan healthy. You wanted to see him playing at a high level, or at least to some degree the level that he was playing before. He's getting his hands on footballs a little bit more this season. I mean, I think that he's still. I think he still struggles at times. Obviously, Brad and Dan have a different view on certain things, but I still think he struggles. I mean, the tape shows it when he struggles with one-on-one. And that's not ever going to change. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. It's never going to change. One of them will be open at some point. You know, Aleem, Tyleek, someone will be open. They just have to go win their one-on-one. No one is leaving Aidan or anybody unblocked. If they had no respect for AQM, they would leave them unblocked. And that's never happened. They're not going to do that. And I don't care who's on the other side. I really don't. I think the Lions have proven, one, where they are right now, statistically speaking, record speaking, defensively. I haven't done all my keys yet, so I don't know where the Lions are defensively, but let me just take a look at a couple of things. Defensively, the Lions are doing great. This is the best defense that we've seen over the last several seasons now, the last 3-4 seasons. And go to team stats. And we're going to go to defense. All right, scoring defense. Where are we at right now? Opponent points per game. Bang. Detroit's 11th place, 21.6. Man, we're moving that needle. We started off the year wrong with 27 points. Now we're all the way up to 21.6. We're almost to the magical number of 20. 19.9, really, but 20 points per game. And when we don't allow the Vikings to score more than 10 points this weekend, is going to get us that much closer. So we're doing great there. We're 11th. We're just behind Green Bay, who's at 21.4. Buffalo's at 20.9. Seattle, 19.4. Houston, 14.7. Kansas City, they're a problem, 16.4. The Rams are a problem at 16.7. Indianapolis is a problem at 19.3. Denver is a problem at 18.9. New England is not on the schedule, so we don't really have to worry about them. If I look at the rest of these team rankings, and let's go in and take a look at total defense. Let's do yards per game. Right now, your Lions are, where are we? 8th place. 8th place right now. Lions are giving up on average 300 yards per game. The last 3 games, we've averaged 309 yards per game. The last game, we only gave up 251. At home, we're only allowing 279. On the road, we're allowing 315. And get this, in 2024, the Lions were giving up 350 yards per game at this time last season. When we had played 7 games, we were averaging 50 more yards per game. And when you think about that from the context of scoring and losing games by 1 possession, if you start at the 30 or the 35 or even the 40 and you're giving up an extra 50 yards per game, I mean, that's almost a touchdown. You're almost moving the ball all the way down. That's at least a field goal just by giving up an extra 50 yards. If you think about it the way that I think about it. Then if you look at total defense, let's look at where's the sacks at? Oh, forget that. Let's go to time of possession. Excluding overtime. Let's look at that. Average opponent time of possession. I haven't looked at this one at all yet this year. All right, so the Lions. Wow. Lions in 5th place. They're giving up an average of 28 minutes and 11 seconds per game. Last year, same thing, 28 minutes, 13 seconds per game. So year over year, not much of a change. But the yardage is a big change. When I look at scoring defense, we already looked at opponent points per game. How about opponent red zone scoring percentage. Man, everything is going crazy today. My phone just won't stop dinging. All right, so the Lions are giving up 63.64% of opponent red scoring percentage right now, which is not great. That means every time that they get into the red zone, they pretty much have a 2/3 opportunity to score a touchdown. That number was a lot lower. It was a lot lower. And this is crazy. The last game we played, it was at 0%. So that really drove the number down. We were up quite a bit higher. I think we were up in the 77, 78% range. But because we did not allow the Tampa Bay Bucks to score at all in the red zone, that 0% really helped us out. Year over year, we are up in a negative way. We have lost about 9 points. Not points like scoring points, but 9 points, percentage points that we have lost. So we're not doing as great there. Let's go back to, how is this defense operating with Aidan, right? What are we doing year over year that's different? Let's do rushing defense. Where are we at in rushing? Opponent rushing attempts or rushing yards per game. This was our bread and butter last year. And the year before that, and the year before that. Lions are in 4th place right now, 87.7. And this time last year, we were at 103. We are allowing 103 yards per game. The last 3, we've averaged 79.3, and the last game was 41 yards. So the Lions overall are doing much better, right? And so when you look at the defense and how we're performing, the question would be, where do we really need to get better? And now that Aidan is locked up, who can we bring in? When does it make sense? Or are the Lions going to continue doing what they've been doing, which is draft, develop, and keep doing the thing that works? Because that's what works. Drafting and develop your own players, building, from within, promoting from within. Yes, it can take a little bit more time to do that, but you guys have seen it this year. Right? You saw how difficult it was to make this roster. And if you have a roster that is this tough to make, it doesn't matter who you draft because a lot of them won't play right away. And I get tired. I get real tired of people saying, well, you brought in this 3rd round pick and he's not playing or starting or doing this and that. There's no room. You already have your starters, right? So unless you're bringing in a 1st or a 2nd round pick that you really have a need for, likelihood of these guys playing in their first year is slim to none now, unless you have a mass exodus of players due to contract, issues, which we really don't have contract issues. Now, next year, DJ Reader, his contract is up. Doubtful that Levi Onwuzurike is going to be back. It's doubtful Josh Paschal will be back. So we're going to have to take another defensive tackle somewhere or bring one in. Is there one that's available right now that could help this team? Possibly. I think that Lacey and Wheat have shown enough that maybe you extend them a little bit to bring them back next year. Whether that's signing I don't know what their contracts are, but maybe it's signing some sort of a futures deal or, something with these guys. All right. So Steve says, who's next to get paid? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know that the Lions are really going to get anybody else paid right now. I don't think that they really have to pay anyone right now. And the only reason why I say that is they got the guys done that they needed to get done. Let's take a look at the Lions NFL draft history just briefly. So I can't remember every draft pick right now. I can't remember what year they were in. So let's go back to 2022. You just got Aidan and JMO done this year. Kirby Joseph is done. Lucas is gone. Houston is gone. James Mitchell is gone. Josh Paschal's not playing. The only other person you have from 2022 is Malcolm Rodriguez, and that'll probably be a next year free agency deal. You know, that's probably what that's going to be, unless they do a small extension or something, add a year on. Could be something like that. So Josh Pascal's the only other one, and I don't know that he comes back. I don't even know if he plays this year. If you notice, they haven't talked about him at all. Period. No one has said anything about him. No one's even asked about him. It's kind of concerning. And maybe some of the media have been asked not to ask. I don't know. I've heard that rumor that they get told what they can and can't ask or say. So I don't think that there's really anyone else. I don't think that there's anyone else that they need to get done this year. Next year, it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. And out of those four, because Hendon Hooker's gone, Broderick Martin is gone, I do not expect Kobe Sorsdahl to be around. Antoine Green is gone. So half that draft class is gone and half of them are still here. But out of those four players, Sam Laporta and Brian Branch are the only two that really need to get done because they're second-round draft picks, and this is year 3. So you really need to get them done before, their fourth season. Why? You don't want the price to keep going up. So I would say Sam Laporta, Brian Branch are the next two to get done, and then Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell. So both first-round draft picks. Jahmyr's making great money. Jack's making great money. Yeah, you're going to want to get Jack locked up, but the linebacker money is nowhere close to anything like a defensive end. If you were to get 15 to 18 million a year for a linebacker, I think that's pretty good money right now. But Jahmyr Gibbs, you gotta lock him up if you plan on keeping him. You've put a low mileage on him. It's almost like, you put your winter tires on in the winter and then you take your winter tires off in the spring. That's like what you got going on with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery right now. One's wearing the set of winter tires, the other one's wearing the set of summer tires, and they're just changing out, and it's keeping them both healthy. And I think with that, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a long career in the league as long as he wants to play. He's not taking a ton of hits. And man, does he delivers the hits. He likes to finish. So I would look at maybe one of those two guys getting locked up next. Definitely Jahmyr Gibbs. And then after that, really, we don't have much on the docket, right? I mean, Terrion Arnold's going to be a minute. Ennis Rakestraw is no concern. Giovanni Manu is no concern. Sione Vaki, Mekhi Wingo, Christian Mahogany, we're good, after this. We just have to get through this gauntlet of contracts, and the Lions are good. That's why you can continue to draft. So I'd be surprised if the Lions bring somebody in, but I would not, at the same time, be surprised if they did, because they got Aidan done, and now they know what they're looking at. So with that, do any of you have any ideas or thoughts on where this goes next? Yeah, so Detroit Grit, yeah. Laporta, Gibbs, Branch, Campbell. Like I was just saying, it's Gibbs and Campbell that would be next year, and that would be probably before June, I would say. Probably before June, assuming that contract extension talks go well. Otherwise, it would be before week 1 would be the next stop. If they go past June, I wouldn't expect anything to happen then until training camp, like after training camp or during training camp or before week 1. And then if it goes beyond that, then I would say your next spot would be whenever our bye is. It seems like Brad is always doing something. around a significant time, whether it's right before week 1 or the bye week now. So yeah, maybe the Lions were looking for a defensive end and they were looking for Aidan Hutchinson and how much they needed to lock him up for, but they weren't looking for another defensive end. Kraft, I don't know. Kraft had one good game, didn't he? The phone lines are open. I'll stay on for another 10 minutes or so. And I don't even know how you guys got on tight end talk. Yeah, last game he had a crazy good game. But he was the only one targeted. Seemed like. I can't remember what year he came into the league. Didn't it take him a hot minute to even really get rolling? So he was brought in, oh my gosh, is that the same year as Laporta? Yeah, same year as Laporta. And he was drafted round 3, so after Laporta. Yeah, he has not had the type of season that Laporta has yet. His first year, he played all 17, had 355. His second year, he played all 17. He had 707. 7 TDs, though. That's a great number. And then this year, he's crushing it with all 7 games played. Already has 6 TDs on the season. That's crushing it. He's going to have at least a 10 TD season as long as he stays healthy. And the way he's projecting right now, he'll have probably close to 1,100 yards. So, yeah, a pretty impressive year for him this year. I mean, Sam Laporta jumped out the box, and had a great season. A little underwhelming at times last year and really underwhelming this year that they're not utilizing him in the space that they were. And I think that that's exactly what Dan Campbell was trying to say in the press conference. Like, man, we're doing things that, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you've got the guys. You need to call the right damn plays. And I think that's the most frustrating part of the first 7 games is how much the Lions have left out there on the field and how much opportunity they have missed because they didn't call the right play. But at the same time, it kind of makes you sit back and say, well, that's kind of a good thing because there's so much more that this team can do. They have not played dominant football in a few weeks yet. It's been a minute. The most dominant game we had was the Chicago Bears, and I would say the Ravens was a fairly dominant game, even though the score didn't dictate it. I think that was a fairly dominant game for the Lions, the way that they played on defense anyway. Kevin Barr says BB is going to lock down Kraft mac and cheese on Turkey Day. That's funny. We'll have to make some Kraft mac and cheese just for Kraft. Trey McBride is ranked higher than Kraft at the moment. Where's he ranked higher at? Is that fantasy football or? Well, shoot. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to have a quick conversation about this. And quite honestly, I mean, look, I'm excited about Aidan, but this really gets my mind going on what's next, who's next. And what are the Lions going to do about bringing in a player over the next week? I think that this does lend a little bit of credibility to the fact that the Lions have options now. And those options are wide open when you can look at your checkbook and say, all right, this is where we're at. This is what we've done. And this is who we can afford now. Now we can make the push. This is a super smart move for Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to get this deal done. I think that, I guess in closing here, I think the thing that probably would worry Brad or Dan or anybody, going into a year where you think you can win a Super Bowl, it's probably the thought of the unknown, right? If you don't know what it's going to cost to keep Aidan and you don't have that contract done yet, how can you go out and add to your team at the trade deadline when you don't know? Especially if you're thinking that it's a significant move or significant amount of money. How do you know? You don't. Could you anticipate the numbers? Yes. You could say, all right, it's going to be $53 million, right? The number that was thrown at me was $53 million next year. That's after you get through this season, you get into the new league year, it would have been $53 million. Well, they didn't get it done next year. They got it done this year. And as I've been saying this entire time, the number's not going to go up this year. I know a lot of people were upset that we didn't get Aidan done earlier, but I was like, just pump the brakes a little bit. The number's not going to go up. Not right now. It'll go up next year, but it's not going to go up this year. And they were able to get him done under Parsons, which is, I think that's pretty significant. I think it's really significant, honestly, that they were able to get that done. And now I think the door's open. So now that the door's open and now that they know what they've got in front of them, you could see a move. You could. You could go all in now and not be afraid that you would end up losing somebody because you weren't prepared. You don't want something to, backdoor you at the end. So we'll see what happens. What do we have? How many days do we have for the trade deadline? I should do a ticker on that. When is it? November 4, right? At 4 p.m. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got, 6 days? 6 days, 3 hours, 12 minutes? Sounds about right. 6 days, 3 hours, 12 minutes. And probably Monday night would be the night. If not tonight or tomorrow night, heading into the game, even if we brought somebody in, do you think that they would get in and play? I guess it depends on who they are. We'll see what happens. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to make some phone calls because I'm interested in why now? Why now? Like what is the coordinating move if there's going to be one? I'm going to throw on my estimating hat for a moment. J-Mo could be up for a trade. And J-Mo could net you a bunch of picks, a player and some picks, and relieve some cap. So I'm going to put J-Mo on the list. Not saying I want him gone. I'm just saying, thinking critically, he could be on the list. Decker's not going anywhere. Not until next year. And maybe not even then, if he's healthy. I don't really see anyone else on the Lions roster right now that you would be looking to do something with. Has there really been anyone that is overly unperformed that you could do something with right now? I don't think so. I really don't. You're not getting rid of Alex Anzalone. You're not getting rid of Jack Campbell. You're not getting rid of Derek Barnes. Grant Stewart is great. Roy Lopez is great. DJ Reader is great. I don't see anybody else, honestly, other than maybe some of the lower hanging fruit, which none of these guys are really low hanging fruit, but you know what I mean. The smaller contracts, which don't really move the needle for me. So we'll see. We'll see if something happens. But that's what I love about doing this, man. Trying to think critically through it and then at the same time speculate a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's nothing but love for Aidan Hutchinson. I'm super happy for the dude. I'm happy for Lions fans. I'm happy for the Detroit Lions. And now it's time to get back to business and go win on Sunday, man. Let's make it to the Super Bowl. This is our season. We got to take advantage of it. We have to take advantage of all these opportunities. So let's get it done. I'll see you guys back here in the morning. That's the plan. As soon as I leave here, though, I am headed to the doctor, unscheduled, having an issue swallowing. So I got to go get that checked out, see what's happening there. And if I'm not, I'll let you know. I'll put a post out or something if we're not back in the morning. Eric should be back tomorrow, too. But anyway, you guys have a good rest of your day. Congratulations to Aidan. Congratulations to Lions fans, Detroit Lions. We'll see you guys in the morning. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Pressured by Hutchinson.